Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaistustuagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May we, O gods, hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we, O worshipful gods, see with our eyes what is good. May we, strong in limbs and body, sing your praises and enjoy the life allotted to us by Prajapati. Om, peace, peace, peace. In our last study, we saw the Upanishad described the lower knowledge and its result. And we found that the Upanishad telling us that the aspirants, after going through all this ritualistic portions and the promises that they confirm on us, the thinking person will understand the futility, because all that has come into existence, all that is limited will one day perish. All the regions of experiences where we go, one day or the other day, it will finish. What is that something which permanently will be with me, having attained which I will never lose? If that is what the seeker seeks, then naturally it will make him to think. It will set him to think. And then he understands there should be something fundamental, unperishable. So he goes to the teacher with all humility and questions him. And to that sincere seeker who has come, the teacher tries his best to teach, because all things have to be given through concepts. The eternal, unperishable reality, which is the goal of the higher knowledge, is an immediate experience. It cannot be explained. But Shruti, the Vedas, out of compassion, tries to explain what cannot be explained, tries its best to make this aspirant understand and get an intellectual conviction about the existence of such a wonderful reality. With this end, the second Mundaka, chapter first, starts with Tadetat Satyam. Yatha sudiptat pavakat visfulingaha sahasrashah prabhavante sarupaha tatha aksharat vividha saumya bhava prajayante tatra chaivapi yanti. So this is the truth, the sacrificial work. I think, Robert, again, it has come back. Something has gone wrong with it, doesn't matter. This is the truth. As from a blazing fire, sparks essentially akin to it fly forth by the thousand. You don't have to worry about it. So also, my good friend, do various beings come forth from the imperishable Brahman, unto him again return. This is the truth. As from a blazing fire, supposing we light a fire and the sparks emanate from it. But the sparks are not different from the fire. They are akin to it, the same. They have the same heat and capable of burning. Anything wrong? Doesn't matter, don't have to worry.
For some reason, it's an earlier version of that file.
Yeah, doesn't matter, don't worry. It's okay, it's okay. So that's fine. So the sparks come out of the fire and they return back to the fire. So also, multitudes of beings is come out of the Supreme Brahman. But when they say Supreme Brahman, universe, the various beings are coming, this multiplicity is due to the limitations. Brahman was limited by Maya. Then all the creation starts. All the variegated universe come into existence. And what is this? Maya? We will later on see to it. Of course, you all know, you have got an understanding of Maya is. Further later on we will, because we will be repeating the same thing. And the Upanishads give an example of space. Space is undivided, but due to its limiting adjuncts of the receptacle, the space gets limited. Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Avibhaktam vibhaktechu, I am undivided, but looks seemingly divided, seemingly appears as if, even as if it's divided. So all this is appearance. So the receptacles, whatever is the shape of the receptacle, the space also looks like that. This multiplicity of the beings, the sparks, which emanating, is a result of the Brahman's association with Maya. Let's take, for example, a vast lake, placid, crystal clear water, but the top layers of the water has become solidified, condensed into a sheet of ice. On the top of the sheet of ice, we drill holes, various sizes, various types, a square, a triangle, a rectangle, hexagonal, or sort. And through those holes, we can see the water of the lake. And those water which are seen through the lake resembles exactly like the holes, because the water in the lake is limited by the holes, size of the holes. Naturally, there's a circle water, there's a square water, there's a triangle shape of water, there's a rectangle shape of water, all because of the size of the ice which we drilled. So here, the underlying water represents the pure Shuddha Brahma, superimposed Brahman, Brahman which is not superimposed by Maya, absolute clear, nothing. That's why we call Shuddha Brahma, pure consciousness. On that, due to its own influence, Maya. And what is Maya? Time, space, causation. These are the three which is covering the absolute reality. And what are those holes? These holes are the infinite beings which are coming from the fire, as we saw. From the fire, it's coming out. So these holes are the bodies. And what's the water that is we can see when we peep into it? These are the consciousness limited by the bodies. There's a consciousness in me, there's a consciousness in you. We all are conscious being, having consciousness as our principle, underlying principle. But when the sheet of ice melts, the holes disappear. And the water which was seen in the holes just get merged in the water. Rather, there's no need for merging also, because even without that, it is one undivided reality, isn't it? The holes may be limiting it, but water in itself was undivided. So in the same way, from the imperishable, immutable, infinite, non-dual reality, due to the influence of its association with the Maya, all of us have come into being. That's what the scriptures is saying. Not just we, both animate, inanimate, all the objects of the, right from the galaxies, those galaxies even beyond our vision, beyond our satellites can capture. If there be, all that is included in the Brahman associated with Maya, not imperishable, absolute Brahman. This is Saguna Brahma. Whenever the Upanishad speaks of the cause of creation, because here the fire is the cause of the sparks, isn't it? So Brahman is the cause of this multitude of universe and its being. That means to say, already it has been limited. That's the meaning. And when this ignorance is destroyed, ignorance along with its effect go away, the bodies disappear, and the consciousness, individual consciousness which we all had, marches back into the infinite consciousness. So this is the meaning of the first mantra. All these names and forms are a limitation on the infinite. The next mantra says, Divyo Hyamurtha Sapurusho Bahyabhyantaro hi ajaha Aprana Amana Shubro hi aksharat paratha paraha. He is the self, luminous and formless Purusha. The second mantra is the first mantra because it was describing about the diversity of the universe in its being. It is Saguna Brahma. But here, this is Nirguna Brahma. Well, Nirguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma. Attributeless Brahman, Brahman with attributes. I'll be repeating this again and again because the Upanishads, they mix it together to make us understand the formless reality and the reality with the form are not two different things. All that limits is only the limiting adjunct. Can I have a cup of water? And so this imperishable, immutable, infinite Brahman, the pure Shuddha Brahma, what I said, pure consciousness, it is formless and uncreated. Uncreated means it doesn't have any of the modifications of creation, either birth or getting at an individuality or existence, coming into existence, or growth, transformation, old age, death, nothing, deterioration rather, and death, nothing of that stuff, absolutely nothing. These modifications are not there and existing both within and without. So Bahya Bhyantara, within and without. That means to say, because in one infinite reality, there is no in and out. In and out is with relation to some object. For example, there is a space within and the space without. And this is limited by the walls. But in one infinite space, where is in and out? So Bahya Bhyantara, there is no in and out. Exists without, within or without, and devoid of prana. Prana, the characteristic of prana is movement, activity, power. In one infinite existence, where is the movement? In relation to what can infinity move? So it is without prana. And thank you, Jayate. I'm sorry. I don't know, from morning I'm getting dry. And so, and amana, no mind. Because mind or prana, whatever you think, they are the evolutes of Prakriti, which comes after Maya. So he is even without mind, higher than the Supreme Purusha, higher than the imperishable. Here, higher than the imperishable means we have to understand, because you have to be, we have to abide ourselves with the commentator's commentary, because the Upanishads use the same word for everything, because these rishis are speaking from such an high level. It's very difficult to put something into concept, into language, such refined idea. So they might sometimes use the same things, but we should understand what it really implies. Higher than the supreme imperishable means it's higher than the Saguna Brahma. Brahman associated with Maya is a lower Brahman. Unassociated with Maya, the pure Anupaya Chaitanya, the pure consciousness, is a higher Brahman. So it is higher than the lower Brahman. Did I have any picture of this? No, later on. So here is the Supreme Brahman, and there's the name, place, and do you have the Swamiji's?
That file has disappeared. When you get past there, I'm going to have the right ones. All the changes we made, I don't know where they've gone.
Doesn't matter. It's all right. Okay. Just don't worry. So we come to the third mantra. Etasma jayate prano manah sarvendriyani cha kham vayur jyoti rapha prithvi vishwasya dharini. From this, that is, again, this is from the lower Brahman, comes prana, manha, all the organs. You remember the chart which I used for the first talk? The second talk, the imperishable Brahman. And within the framework of space, time, and causation starts. First is the unmanifested, then comes the Hiranyagarbha, then comes the prana, and then comes the material world. All the steps, even in the Katha Upanishad, when we read, you must be remembering it. We had the chart, because the chart becomes very easy to understand. And then all these are coming from that Supreme Brahman. So that means to say, when we are speaking of all this prana and mana, already the Brahman has come to considerably, it has come from its higher place, it has come down. But the imperishable, the Shuddha Brahma, the pure consciousness, either before the creation or after the creation, whatever be, it always remains immutable, imperishable, infinite, non-dual. That can never change. Swami Vivekananda gives a beautiful chart. See, for example, how he gives us, there is this absolute, not subject to any changes. And there is a framework of space, time, causation. What are they? Swamiji says, time, space, and causation, these are not different entities. Actually, Swamiji says, these are concepts. You see, whoever has seen time, you can comprehend. We have a watch. Does time exist in it? No. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you, Robert. So the absolute, A is the absolute. B is the universe. Universe, the creator, the creation with all its animate, inanimate, or B. And C is time, space, and causation. The absolute, limited by the time, space, and causation, appears as the universe, the creator, and the world. You know, in the Visishtadvaita, we have Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Vishishta Brahma, we say. World, living beings, and God, all together from the triangle of the Visishtadvaita. That comes in below, be. How did it happen? Through this peculiar framework of space, time, and causation. It's like something sitting through a glass. And these are such it's their concepts just. Swamiji says they do not have even the real existence as how this table or chair has. But the whole of the universe, everything is going on in and through. Even though they are non-entities, in one way they are entities, because seeing that the manifested universe cannot come out without them. But that doesn't mean to say they are two different realities. See, when we say absolute, you cannot say the time, space, and causation is absolute. That means to say the manifested universe is not absolute. We know this galaxy has come. In time, the galaxy will die. Our sun will die. So with our planet, everything, all that has come into existence has to go away. Where does it go? How has it come? Through this, limited by time and space and causation, the universe appears with all its living being and non-living being. And Swamiji says this, why we say this time, space, and causation, they are a limitation because they are combined together. They combine themselves. You cannot think of time without space or space without causation. And they are limited. How do you say? Such a vast galaxy. How far they are. Do you mean to say, Mataji, that space is limited? What sort of a thing are you speaking? Naturally, you would say infinite space. But that space is encompassed by the absolute. The absolute permeates both Saguna Brahma and the universe. In the Vedanta Dindima, there's a beautiful Niradhara Swarupoham Sarvadharoham Evacha. Niradhara, I have no adhara, support. I am the support of everything, Shankara says. I have no support. What can support me? Only an infinity should support an infinity, and there cannot be two infinities. So this infinite reality is supporting the whole of the Saguna Brahma, the universe, the creator, and the creatures. Everything is being supported by the absolute. This is the idea of time, and they are finite because time is a finite entity. For some, time flies. For some, time hangs on. When you go to sleep, 6 hours sleep is like 5 minutes. I went and I had such sound. I couldn't make out the time. Sound sleep, time is erased. Space, in that little mind, I went to India, always I go. So this is what happens. The whole of India, the whole is in this mind, because space is in mind, time is in mind. And our purpose or our effort is to get rid of this mind, get rid of this time and space and causation is the only thing which is, hiding the reality. If not, I am one infinite self. What is hiding? What is separating me? The psychophysical organism, nothing else. Hence, this is the Maya. Through this, the world has come into existence. The Upanishad is very compassionate. It also, such an abstract ideas becomes very difficult to comprehend. So it gives us some thing to hold on to meditate. So this infinite reality also the Upanishad tries to make you an object of meditation. How? To facilitate our meditation, it projects a universal being, cosmic being. That is the fourth mantra. It says, Agni Murdha Chakshushi Chandra Surya. Dishashrotre Vag Vivrutascha Vedaha Vayu Prano Hridayam Vishwamasya Padbhyam Prithvi Hesha Sarva Bhutantaratma. The heavens are his head. Imagine the cosmic person. His head is heaven, and the sun and moon are his eyes. And quarters, the directions, are his ears, because sound comes from the space. The revealed Vedas are his speeches. The wind, his breath. The universe, his heart. So this universe of us is the heart of God. And from his feet is produced the earth. Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasya Amritam Devi. This whole universe has come a part of me. It's just a particle of me, a quarter of me. And 3/4 of it is unmanifested. The Purusha Sukta says. So he is indeed the inner self of all beings. So this second verse is making a detailed description of the Nirguna Brahman, that is attributeless Brahman, to make us understand that the Brahman with attributes and the Brahman without attributes are essentially one and the same. Agni. Agni means fire. Literally, Agni means fire. But in Vedic language, it also means heavens. And revealed Vedas. What is revealed Vedas? According to Orthodox Hinduism, Vedas are not just books. It's not written by somebody. They are the spiritual ideas there in the universe. The Lord himself inspires when once we are ready for this revelation, when our body and mind is ready for it, we get the revelations from within. The Lord transmits these ideas come. So it is a Paurusheya. It doesn't belong to any person. Those revealed ideas, those revealed thoughts, out of compassion, the rishis have tried their best to jot out something. Oh, wonderful. We remember Swamiji, when he went to, as a part of Pravrajika, he went with Swami Akhandananda, one of his disciple, brother disciple. They went to Almora. And there they came to a particular place called as Kakri Ghat. And there's a small Shiva temple where the monks, what will they do? They don't have any place. Wherever there's a temple or something, they take refuge there. So they stayed there. And there was a small stream and a beautiful, huge banyan tree was there. So Swamiji sat under that banyan tree and meditated. And there he had a wonderful revelation. He had the experience of microcosm and macrocosm. He found both, they are identical, they are not different. Whatever is in an atom, that is in the whole cosmos. You see how the electrons, proton, neutrons, how they move, and the whole cosmos, it's all more or less like that. And whatever is there within this psychophysical organism, whatever it means, is also outside. So he had that text. So immediately he got up and jotted it down. So what I'm saying is just a few points, we dot it. So like the rishis have just jotted out these ideas for the posterities to help us. So that is how the Vedas have come. But it is, Vedas are eternal, Anadi and Ananta, infinite. Just as the God it preaches. And this whole manifested universe is where? It's in the mind. Of course, not mine and your mind. Mine and your mind are fragments of the cosmic mind. So this whole, he said, Hridayam, Vishwam, the universe is his Hridaya, his heart. Why? Because the whole universe comes into being in the waking state. Now we are here, we go to bed. What happens? The whole universe has gone within. Everything is, it's in the mind. It has gone, and it goes into, in a seed form, it remains within. And then with the waking, as soon as we wake up, the whole variegated universe has come out. Individually, what is happening is also happening in the cosmic. That is why, every day is a nitya pralaya. Our everyday sleeping is like a dissolution. Because we see there's a watch here, and there's a cup of water here. I'm in the bed with the nice quilt covered. But when I go into sleep, I'm not aware. I'm not even aware of my body. What to speak of the quilt, what I'm having, or the water and the water. No, nothing. The whole universe has vanished. Where? In the heart. So the heart is a very important place. That's why he said the whole universe is his heart. So when the projection of the universe is coming out, the whole universe is projected, and everything, like the Upanishad gave us the example of the spider. The spider takes back everything within itself, like that. The whole, at the time of dissolution, the whole of the universe goes back into Brahman. So the heart, the universe is his heart, and this earth has come out of his feet. That means to say, we devotees are very fond of the feet of Lord. We have devotion to the feet of Lord. This is the language of a devotee. Or the feet of Lord is very important because we want the earth. We are down to earth people. So we are very fond of earth. So we are very fond of the feet of the Lord. So you see, the feet of the Lord, we want to serve. A devotee says, give me servitude to your feet. May I serve your feet. So here the Upanishad is giving us ample of opportunity. Serve the world, serve the earth, protect the planet. See, you are worshipping the feet of the Lord because this planet, this earth has come out of the feet of the Lord. So ample of opportunity for us to do seva, service. Because he alone, Sarva Bhutantaratma, he is the self of all. So by serving the beings, we are serving the cosmic being called God or Saguna Brahma, whatever you want, you can say. And there's a beautiful incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life. One day, Sri Ramakrishna, anyway, he used to go from one to many. His mind used to oscillate from Nirguna to Saguna. One and many. During the day, how many times he would go to this end to that end of the spectrum, I don't know. So one day he went to pick a flower and he found this whole universe is an altar of the Lord. And each tree full bloomed with flowers are like the vases. It says, after that vision, it was revealed to me, I couldn't pick flowers because already this is a Virat worship is going on. Big worship of the Lord is going on in the universe. What's the fun in me picking a flower and putting it at his feet? It's only when we come away from that center, then we are too conscious of our limitation, then out of our limitation, desperately, we pick a flower and offer at the feet of the Lord. Given the opportunity for us to have that infinite experience, no one would do that. But it's a very rare thing and a long way for us to. So this is the Virat description of the Nirguna Brahma, attributeless Brahman. And this idea is the basis of Swami Vivekananda's Jagat Hitaya. What he said, Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya. Meditate within you, you perceive the divinity and see the divinity outside, and as divine manifestations serve them. Every moment, because it's very hard to serve a living God. A living God will thrash me if I go and do something, may not like my service. Very hard. If I go and offer flowers and early morning cold flowers, if I offer at Sri Ramakrishna's feet, he doesn't mind because he can't tell, he's a photo. Cold flowers. But if I give a cold coffee in a winter day to someone, they will say, what sort of horrible person you are, can't you give me some hot coffee? So it's very difficult to adore and worship a living God. But Swamiji said, always remember, you are, however the person may behave with you, you are adoring a living God. That's why in some of the Advaita Ashrama hospitals, they would say for the patients, Narayan. Hey, Narayan. And what happens is, after keeping on saying that, you just forget the idea behind, and it becomes a habit. Here, the patient is not getting up. Hey, Narayan, get up. Hey, Narayan, get up. This is the way to call God. You go to the temple, how you say, you Suprabhatam, you sing the chants, oh Lord, get up. That's how in the temple ritualistically we have got Suprabhatam now, early in the morning. How with what care, adoration and devotion and respect we call. But here, hey, Narayan, get up. Get up, have this much. This is the time for you to take the medicine. This is happening. It's so hard to remember this idea. But that is the sadhana. That is the practice. Constantly to be aware that I am dealing with not matter. I am dealing with spirit. Very, very difficult. Swamiji says, the ideal is very difficult. 100,000 times, 50,000 times you fall. Doesn't matter. Take up again. One fine day, even if it's an imagination, my imagination may become a realization. But let me start imagining. Doesn't matter. Instead of imagining all fantasies, let me imagine consciously. Conscious imagination. Fantasies are unconscious imagination. You don't have control over the fantasies. But whereas this is, meditation is constant conscious imagination. So here is an ample of opportunity for us to serve the Lord and his creatures through this Virat. The fifth, the evolution of living beings. And how did this come? This is typically, this mantra is from the point of ritualistic portions they have taken, but it has a beautiful meaning. Tasmat Agni Samido Yasya Surya. Here they said Agni is his head and sun and moon are his eyes. So from that Agni, Tasmat Agni Samido Yasya Surya Somat Parjanya Oshadhaya Prithivyam. That fifth one. Puman Reta Sinchati Yoshitaya Bahvi Praja Purushat Samprasuta. From him comes the fire, whose fuel is the sun. Just imagine, the sun is the fuel for this fire called infinite God. From the moon comes rain. From rain, the herbs that grow on the earth. From the herbs, the seminal fluid which a man pours into a woman. Thus, many living beings are born of the Purusha. This mantra deals with a Vidya, meditation called Panchagni Vidya, where the fire, the heavens are the first fire. Then the moon, the second. Soma can be even moon, or it can maybe because it's the mantra is from a ritualistic portion. Those days, the huge yagas and fire sacrifice they used to do. In that fire sacrifice, they used to use a particular juice for oblations. That is called a somarasa. So huge fire is created, sacrificial, out of which the clouds form and the rains come. So you can, and we all know that rain has something, the moon has something to do with the rain. I was Googling many things they said, but I can't understand so much about all those things. Anyway, but I know this much, that moon has some say in rain. That's enough for us to understand the text. And the third fire is the earth, where the herbs grow. And it's eaten by human beings, all the living beings. Why just confined to human beings, living beings? And the male takes in and transmits to the female, and that's how the creation comes out. So this is the Panchagni fire. So what actually they mean to say is The creation is not a chaos. There is a result, there is a relationship between the Adhar, the support, the substratum, and that Adheya, that which is superimposed. Because both are same reality. That which is the rope has to be in order the snake can be superimposed. If there is no rope, where can the delusion of snake come? On the rope alone, all the delusions will come. Maybe it is a garland, or maybe it is a line of water, or maybe a cracked floor, or a snake, whatever may be. All that have to come only if the rope is there. So the rope is the imperishable, immutable, one and non-dual Brahman. On that, all the superimpositions. So there's a relationship. So this is what the Upanishads are trying to make us understand. And there are 3 more mantras of same type from this. This has come out of Brahman. This is, so I'm not going to deal with all that. But just what I'm saying is, from the Saguna Brahma has come forth all the Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, all the sacrifices, the fruit of their actions, that is the different universes. I do this sacrifice, I go to a particular type of universe. I do this type of charity, I go to a particular type of heaven. And what I do there, I go and enjoy the fruits of its results and come back. Kshine punye martya lokam vishanti, as Sri Krishna says. After finishing the merits, come back. Ajay Panamataji always used to say, you cannot stay for a long time in Gold Coast. You go for a holiday. As soon as the money is finished, you come back. You have to come back to your normal duty. Karma kshetra. Here is what you can exhaust your karma. So you have to come back. That's what bhoga kshetra. Enjoyment. That's the field of enjoyment. This is the field of action. And this is the field where you can cleanse and make our mind transparent, so thin, so fine that the infinity can be seen, at least to a certain extent. So all this, even the gods, as I told you, in this, the below we saw the universe, in that comes Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat. All these are within this B of what we saw Swamiji's figure. So all this has come. And not only that, gods, men, beasts, birds, energy, because existence limited is life. Consciousness limited is prana. So everything has come out of it. Penance, all that we do. Faith, astikya buddhi. But there is goodness in the heart of all people, all men. So this faith in the goodness of people and law, moral laws, all this truth. What is truth? Giving a true report without hurting anybody. I am very truthful. I speak bitter truth. That's not right. By speaking bitter truth, we harm somebody. Holy Mother used to say, if a person has injured, lame, we should not ask him, why did you become lame, or what is, oh, you're born lame? No. Rather, she said, how did this happen to your feet? See, there's a way of asking. It's the truth. It is the truth that the person is lame. But to tell you are a lame person is an awkward truth. So always, Satyam Bhruya, Priyam Bhruya. Speak the truth. Speak in such a way that it will not hurt the person. So that is called as truth. And these truth and brahmacharya, the capacity to overcome the lower propensities. All these have originated from Brahman. So this is why the Upanishad is trying to make us that our origin, our journey, everything is a spiritual act. We are not divorced from the reality, divorced from God. In and through, and to get a Brahma Buddhi, Brahma Drishti, to see, now ours is a material Drishti. I see the whole, all of it. We have psychophysical organism as a human being. But to get a Brahma Drishti, this is the teaching of Upanishads. Now, and still, this was one beautiful verse. I thought I will explain. Atha samudra girayashcha sarve tasmat sandante sindhava sarva rupaha athashcha sarva oshadayo rasashcha yenaishcha bhuktaistishtatehi antaratma. From him come all the oceans and the mountains. From him flows rivers of every kind. From him have come as well all plants and flavors, by which the inner self subsists surrounded by elements. Now, oceans are there, mountains, all have come out of the same Brahman. So you see, when we go to the ocean, when we see the mountain, see, a feeling of vastness comes within us. You feel, isn't it? When we see the vast ocean and the huge mountains, where a sense of vastness comes into our mind and you feel so happy. In Ramakrishna's life, Yam went to Himalayas once when Sri Ramakrishna was there, and he saw the Himalayas and tears came from his eyes. And he was so happy to see the Himalayas. And when he came back and reported Sri Ramakrishna that he had been, the master asked him, did tears come from your eyes? He said, yes, sir. Unconsciously, without knowing, the tears came from my eyes. And Sri Ramakrishna was very happy. Yam did not know at that time. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Vibhuti Yoga, Sri Krishna says, Sthavaranam Himalaya. Among the immovables, I am the Himalaya. So the Himalayas reminded God. So the oceans, the rivers, the mountains, the nature, if it reminds us of vastness, of divinity, of God, the reality behind this nature, then we should pat ourselves. We have progressed a bit in spiritual life. If it brings us only enjoyment, then it's of no use. We haven't even progressed an inch. So all this, everything has come out of the divine. So the whole universe is nothing but spiritual through and through. And because of all this, the food and everything, the subtle body subsists in this. Supposing if I fast for 15 days, first 2 days, okay, third day, slowly I'll start forgetting things, and then I won't be able to speak, and maybe after 10 days I will be no more, because this body is made of food, and not the indwelling self, the subtle body is supported by the gross body with the food. So that is what is Antaratma means. It is not Atman, it's a subtle body. Because I told you, the Upanishads, when they say something, you just can't understand what they really mean. Antaratma. It's not Antaratma, it is subtle body. So we should read the commentators. That's the good thing about it. Upanishads, I went and once complained our Mataji. What is this? Sometimes it means this one, sometimes it means that one. I find it very confused. She said, that's why I'm here to help you, dear. So we need it. We need them because they understand better and they teach us what actually it means. So here, Antaratma means the subtle body. Finally, the last, the Upanishads is aggressively telling us. What does it say? Purushaye vedam vishwam karma tapo brahma paramritam etadyo vedanihitam guhayam so avidya granthi vikirati saumya. The Purusha alone is verily the universe. You may say, no. How can it be? I see this tangible gross universe. That doesn't matter. A time will come, you will see. Narendra had said that. This pot is Brahman, this cup is Brahman, this is Brahman. What does he say? And he was laughing at Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna came. Narayan, what are you saying? Touch, revelation. All the gross things started melting, and one infinite consciousness he could see. He says so much that a week later, a week had gone. Still, he is not at all able to see. He went and hit his head to the rod, hedge, to see whether it is real. After 7 days, he felt as the whole world is like a painting on a canvas. So such was the experience. So that means to say, Purusha alone, whether I and you know it or not, this world is nothing but God. Swamiji wrote to Sister Hale, Mary Hale. He said, sister, it is not the world and God. It's not the world. God alone. God alone it is God alone has become. He could say that because he had that experience. It's not God and the God is in the universe. God is immanent in the universe. These are all the explanations because we excuse ourselves. But the hard reality is it is God alone. Purusha evedam sarvam. Vishwam. This whole universe is nothing but that Purusha. And what? All its activities, all its knowledge. All he alone. Those who understand this, they will cut asunder the knot of the heart. So he who knows this Purusha, how to know? Not through listening a lecture or reading, not an intellectual understanding. To perceive that the supreme, all-pervading truth alone is the universe. And its activities, its knowledge, everything is from that supreme, immortal Brahman. And where is he? Hidden in the heart, the cave of the heart. As we saw, the little holes, what did it carry? It carried the water of the lake. The water of the lake could be perceived through those holes. That means consciousness was just limited, but it is the one infinite indivisible consciousness, isn't it? So, but he's easily available here. Once if I can get him here, I can get him everywhere. Such a person overcomes ignorance, cuts asunder the knot of the heart. With the destruction of ignorance, one attains knowledge. That is, one is the imperishable Brahman, and this world is not separate from it. The world does not, the universe does not have any substance of its own. Whatever is nothing but this knowledge comes. And what does that person become? He becomes omniscient. No, this was the question. What is that by knowing which everything else can be known? So if you know this Purusha, who is hidden in the cave of your heart and who pervades and permeates the whole of this universe, the cosmos, then you know everything. So do you mean to say the omniscient person, Enor of Sarvagnya, who knows everything was happening under the sun, or what everything is in? No, not essentially. Sri Ramakrishna was omniscient, but arithmetic would be a very troublesome subject for him. He says, once M drew the picture of sun, moon, and how the what do you call? Tides come. Oh, I said, stop it. My head is aching. But he knew infinity. So that doesn't mean to say you will know every bit of it, because they don't feel like knowing it. If Sri Ramakrishna wanted to know, he would have known it. It was not a big thing for him. But they don't care, because these things don't have anything separate. Something of their own they don't have. So what has to be known, for which I have got this psychophysical organism and have come into this time, space, and causation. Let me do that. Why bother about knowing so many things? It's information. Now we are just overloaded, bombarded with information. What is education? Collecting informations in the head. Swamiji says, if I have any voice in education, the first thing what I would tell is, forget all that. learn to concentrate. And then you put your mind in only that which you want. So you will completely understand, because there is no distraction. That's the thing. Because what the purpose of me having the psychophysical organism is to know my infinite nature. Apart from that, I don't have anything. I don't care. So that should be, our priorities has to be fixed. So this is what's the advantage of this knowledge? The advantage is we will be freed from fear and delusion. If we look at the diversity of the universe, we will be infatuated by it. But once we know that I am this non-dual Brahman, I am through and through, whatever I see, everything is nothing but it's me through so many limitations. So all morality is there in this. All knowledge comes from this, and all freedom comes from this. Freedom from what? What are we seeking? Freedom from sorrow, misery. And what we want? Infinite existence, infinite knowledge. We don't want ourselves to be called as fools. There's so much of thirst, infinite thirst for knowledge. So bit by bit, you cannot understand. We cannot get all the knowledge. But why should we? Know the Purusha, you will know everything. Because all those things are in Purusha. Apart from Purusha, these things have no value. They're unreal. So this Brahma Drishti comes to us. This some totality of the vision, we get it. And that in itself is a reward. That is one, that itself is a blessedness. Our lives will become blessed. And that's the only purpose why we are here. And if we work, and he says, here and now, this knowledge is not that post-mortem, as Ranganathan Maharaj used to say, not after death you are going to have it. No, here and now we can have, provided we work diligently towards this, towards purifying, I don't say purifying, reducing the opaqueness of our mind. Now our mind is so opaque, so hard, so gross. Make it finer and finer and finer. Kshina doshaha, this very Upanishad will say, Kshina doshaha, those who are free from all the doshas, limitations, they perceive this ultimate reality and be blessed. This is the first chapter of the second Mundaka.
Time for questions and answers.
Maybe I can start it off. Comment on
Zoom purposes, it isn't.
Mataji, just a comment on the heart. You know, he resides in the heart. Now, we understand this being the source of all experience or source of all emotion. Now, when it comes about experience, there's some intellectual component in here, and we tend to ascribe the brain hate. Usually. So would you like to make a comment on this?
Yeah, usually we say the thinking process is in the brain, but the Upanishad says it's the heart. It's the heart. Swamiji says not much difference is there, but and there is difference both. Swamiji says two things are there: heart and the brain. Brain may make mistake. The mind may mistake, maybe, but heart will not. Heart, when Swamiji says, I would have 1,000 times, I prefer heart than the brain.
Perhaps here it's not just the physical part.
No, not at all. It's a spiritual heart wherein all the knowledge is there. The knowledge, this is a chemical. Brain, when the gray matter dries off, nothing comes. We have seen great savants becoming like children, nothing. It's a great person, Radhakrishnan, Alzheimer's patient. Where did the intellect go? Where did all this knowledge go? But if the realization is already there, nothing will happen. Because I have seen some of our great Matajis who have become subject to Alzheimer's, but they have not lost the consciousness of God consciousness. You know, as the disease is, you can see them restless sometimes and sometimes passive, not responding. But I have observed, I have hidden myself and observed their way. I would send away everyone, go away. All of us will go. Let's see what this person does. The person is restless, doing this, that. Suddenly her attention caught the photo of Sri Ramakrishna. And can you imagine that restless person for 15 minutes was continuously looking at the master, and there was a great sight. There was a great sight. That sight told me all what the disease cannot tell. That consciousness, that intelligence, that understanding, it was in the deeper level. Only the brain had, the gray matter had dried and she had become victim to Alzheimer's. But the divine consciousness, the one that didn't affect. So the heart is the seat of knowledge. When we say consciousness, pragnanam, all knowledge. In the English we say knowledge is only a higher mind in Sanskrit. But heart is the seat of knowledge. All knowledge in the Sanskrit. Intuitively. That's why Ram Prasad said, my mind doesn't understand, my heart and my mon bujena pran buje. My mind doesn't, my heart. My mind is a small thing. My mind says, oh yes, God cannot be realized. It's true, how can I realize God? The mind is a small thing. It accepts. The heart, no. It wants to grasp the infinity. So that's why he says, you being dark, you want to catch the moon. It's like that. And ordinary and limited, simple people we are. And we are speaking of this high Vedanta and we want to become infinite. We want to understand infinity. People will laugh. Maybe. But my heart is not happy until and unless I become infinite. And this is my only chance. The purpose of my soul psychophysical organism is nothing but only for that. I need to remember and work for it. Yes, please.
Sridharaprana, you mentioned that time, space, and causation is has three different entities, but in, say, for example, causation is very much dependent on time.
Yeah, they are not three different entities. They are not different. No.
So how are they?
See, they are, that itself shows that they are limited. Each is depending upon other. See, if it was absolute, absolute doesn't need anything. But this is a limitation. All limitations are finite. And how do you know that it is limited? Because it is a combination of the three. Together they work. Time cannot exist without space. Space doesn't work without, and of course, causation means it is in time and space. It is not three different, just like Sat, Chit, Ananda are not three different, that the attributes one and the same reality it is. That which is existence is consciousness, that which is consciousness is bliss. In the same way, time, place, and space and causation are together one.
Could we call them as attributes of Maya?
Maya, it's not only attributes, it is Maya itself. It doesn't, and the funny thing about it, the peculiarity about it is they are, first of all, they are interdependent and they don't have any, you try to analyze, they go away. You try to analyze, you lose them. But you cannot deny them. So a shadowy existence they have. That is why Shankara calls it anirvachaniya, indescribable. In Vedanta, we call this space-time causation as indescribable, anirvachaniya. But it cannot exist apart from the absolute. No space or time and causation can be there apart from absolute. No absolute, no time. Because there is no time in absolute. They are interdependent, depending entities. Do you understand? It's interdependent. These three as themselves, they are interdependent and they depend on something. Apart from them, they can't. The moment you remove the snake, rope, the snake has gone. Where there is no rope, where can the delusion come?
Plus milk and its whiteness.
It's you can call it not attributes or it is something anirvachaniyam, sadasadbhyam, anirvachaniyam. It is sat, it is asat. It is sat because seeing that it is there. The whole manifested variegated universe has come from space, time, causation. Though they are shadowy entities or shadowy existence they have, still I say the practical universe has come. And as far as Swamiji gives a beautiful example, no. So it is serving my practical purpose. So as such, they have a practicality. Vyavahara is there. Activities is going on in and through that. But at the same time, you go to the root of it and find out they elude you. So that is network. They are non-entities without base. But because of the base, they assume an existence of their own. But their existence is superimposed existence. And not a real existence. If that was there, when the knowledge comes, ignorance goes off. When you realize in absolute, there is no time. In samadhi, there is no time. There is no space. One infinite reality. That means to say, it is limited. So if it was something, an absolute entity, it would have been state. But it gets all the importance because Bhava Rupam it is called as. Because the base is on the firm ground of absolute, it is showing off itself. So as such, it gets all the importance from us. Space, time, continuum, all that we study.
Yeah, I was just adding to what you said. You can possibly also find it's not important. Sir.
It's all right, it's a discussion. You can give it. Yeah.
We can use our ordinary experience like time. Time is essentially a measure of events.
Two events.
So without the events, there is no time.
No.
And
space
events
too.
only take place when there is the observer.
Ah.
So when we lose our eye consciousness, that observer is dissolved, and therefore the time also dissolves.
And so is space.
So is space, because space is also
Two
different-
objects or three objects within that.
That's right. There are events that take
So
place.
they are always dependent on something. That shows their limitation. That's all. Jaishankar.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry, Jaya.
You said that the Maya is due to time, space, and causation.
It's not due to Maya is time.
But what my understanding is, Maya is due to Vishesha Sakti, Avara Sakti and Vishesha Sakti.
Huh?
Avara Sakti and Vishesha Sakti. That is the covering of
The two aspects of Maya.
aspects. But then how the three gunas are connected with this time, space, and causation.
See, these are the contents. These are the contents.
Yes.
Trigunas, say Maya's definition is, it is real.
Due to three gunas.
I will tell you the definition of Maya according to Shankar.
Maya is real and unreal. Like how is it? Space, time, causation are non-entities, but they presume their existence because of the Brahman, underlying principle. So they are there, there are shadowy entities, but at the same time, we see practical world going on. So it is real. Swamiji said, Maya is a statement of fact. You may deny it, but you are seeing it. That shows it is real. So Sat and Asat is and Anirvachaniyam. That's why you cannot explain an entity which is real and unreal. It's too, it doesn't come into the explanation concept. So he says Anirvachaniyam, indescribable, but which has all practical use because of the substratum reality. So that is why it gets, because he said, though Maya, the world is beautiful, we enjoy it, don't we? Where does it come from? That sweetness, that joy, because Brahman is there. On it, this is superimposed. So naturally, it absorbs the, what do you call, the joy. So we all feel, we live eternally. We may give up the body, but still I feel, where am I going after? That means I am there. I may give up this body, but where will I go? That means there is some place where I am going, but I cannot think of myself as a non-entity. However, I may be an atheist, but I can't think of myself as a non-entity. So this one, Bhava, Triguna, these are the constituents of Maya. These are in Maya. It expresses this. It is something he couldn't explain. Yet, kinchit, something.
That which is not, that's the
You cannot say it is not. It is there also.
appearing.
Appearing. That is what. It's superimposed. It doesn't have, say, the whole, the absolute has become the universe. Understand? But it is not through transformation. Not through, its transformation is apparent. That is called as Vivarta. There are two ideas in Advaita Vedanta. One is Parinamavad, one is Vivartavad. Vivartavad is the proper one. Parinamavad, Parinam is what? Now you take a cup of milk, you set it to curd. It becomes curd. All the properties of the milk is changed. So this is Parinam. So Brahman has not become world like that. Though the Brahman has become the world, Brahman remains, all is intact. The world is superimposed on the Brahman. The psychophysical organism is superimposed on the Atma. So the world and me, these are the two dualities. So when the world is an adjunct, upadhi of Brahman, the psychophysical organism is the upadhi of the Atma. So due to upadhi, I feel I of infinite existence. This whole Maya Dvaite Bhati Tasmat Shivoham. In the Shankaracharya's birthday, we sang that. So in my non-dual consciousness, this world is revealed. This world appears rather, appears. It's an appearance. It doesn't have, because when I dream, the whole world goes off. If it was something true, it wouldn't. It doesn't stand the test of time. That's what is meant by Maya.
The three state of consciousness. Three
Waking.
state. And Turiya is the absolute.
Four. So the Turiya is the one underlying one of all these three states. When I wake up to Turiya, when I wake up to that, then I see these are all as dreams. So long as I am dreaming, the dream world is surely real. All the panic, all the fear, all the joy is true. I can't deny it. I am enjoying. My mind has the mind has created the subject and the object, the enjoyer and the enjoyment. Everything has been created. So the whole of space is in that mind. Whole of time is in the mind. And then when I come out, then I say, oh, I had been to India. What is to be? You know, the craving, the desire. So ignorance, desire, action, fruit of action, these are all Maya. This comes. With this ignorance comes the desire. If there was no ignorance, what should I desire for? because there's nothing apart from me. There's nothing apart from me. The food, the enjoyer, and the enjoyment is the one. Aham na bhojanam naiva bhojam na bhokta. I'm neither this or I'm all this. So the question of enjoyment doesn't come because knowledge has come. When the knowledge of non-duality comes, ignorance vanishes. I think it's fine.
Thanks for the questions, everybody. Announcements. So we have the yoga classes Thursday. It will be the last one for 2 weeks because we have the school holidays. So there won't be yoga classes during the school holidays. We've got the spiritual evening discussion this Friday night. And next Sunday, Coach Pravrajika will be giving the talk on Causation on Krishna. We've just received a new book into stock, Vedanta in Practice, Spiritual Unfoldment. And these are transcribed lectures that the dear Pravrajika and Jayate gave, primarily in Malaysia and some in India as well after she returned to India. So that book's available now. Sure. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about technical issues at the start. Spent a lot of time preparing the PowerPoint presentation, and the latest version is nowhere to be found. So things happen. Right, thanks for coming.